Hi, my beautiful Leo Pride. I'm always so excited to talk to my fellow Leos. As most of you probably know that have been with me for a while, I'm a Leo and I love this energy. And I always find this is such a good opportunity to do some real deep diving and self-reflection and just notice what's going on energetically with the Leo fam. And, November is such a dynamic, powerful month. I've done a handful of readings now. And so coming into our chat today, I'm getting a sense of what's going on this month and how potent the energy really is. Of course, it's Scorpio season in the first 3 weeks of November. And that's a fellow fixed sign, which illuminates for Leos the fourth house of the inner magic, the inner moon hidden world that lights our lanterns and moves us forward. And this is one of my favorite places to do work from, actually. It's very subtle. It's countercultural in that it's not about a showy display of social prowess or popularity or success or achievement. And so in that way, it can be a little uncomfortable sometimes because it's not about the end result. It's not about what looks good. It's not about what you can summarize in a quick share with a friend or on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, right? It's something that we hold within us is true and that slowly but surely reveals itself over time. And so this is a really, really, really potent energy. And I'm telling you, if you are willing to work with it, with this Scorpio season, which is really intense because we got Mars in Scorpio, Sun in Scorpio, New Moon in Scorpio, Mercury in Scorpio, all working to have us get to our truest selves, dig down into the deep honesty, simple honesty of who we are, right? If you're willing, though, to work with this Scorpio energy this month and really just relax into it, I'm telling you that what comes of that can be so beneficial in the coming months ahead and can be a time of complete re-energization. Is that a word? For Leos. So I'm really, really curious and excited about what November is going to bring on this front. And the message that came up for Leos before I get started on cards and transits and all of that is that transformation is slow and soft and quiet. Building and creating is slow and soft and quiet. You're doing it right even if you don't have the end result in your hand. Even if you can't, take that test and pass it right this second. Even if you can't, do the skill that you're building or growing, even if you don't know how it's going to turn out at the end, you're on the path and you're doing it right. So trust into that very, very deeply. Anchor into that affirmation very, very deeply this month and work from the energy of that place. It's so important. Now, of course, as we move through this month, at the end of Scorpio season, we have a full moon partial lunar eclipse in fellow fixed sign Taurus. And this is beginning eclipse season. It's also beginning a nudge toward, we are getting so close. In a couple of months, we are going to have the north node of the moon move into Taurus, which is why we're starting to have eclipses moving over into Taurus. We are having a major shift. The south node of the moon has been in Sagittarius for 1.5 years. The north node's been in Gemini, and we are about to get those shifted over. And I am really excited for this shift. And this eclipse is great for viewing your long-term legacy with new eyes. But once again, this comes from kind of knowing something really quiet and deep and true deep down in your hidden self, not your social self, not the self that you need others to see, but something that you know deep down inside. And this eclipse is going to help us to calibrate toward that new North Star that is starting to show itself. In 2021, it's been trying to show itself in little ways this whole time, but is really going to start to gain momentum and speed as we move through into 2022. I'm also excited for Sag season. The sun moves into Sagittarius on the 21st. Four of Pentacles, a very, very important energy. We'll talk about it in a minute. But yeah, we have energy moving into Sag shortly after, right after Scorpio season. And this is so nice. I mean, Sag energy and Leo energy is one of the best combos ever. King of Swords. All right, cool. And brings about a lot of creativity, playfulness, fun, curiosity, openness. So we start off with kind of this deep knowing, inner lantern, inner lunation kind of situation going on. And by the time we get to Sag season, there's going to be more external expression. Four of Swords. I'm going to pull one more card. I can't help it. Knight of Pentacles. Okay. This is really interesting because, like I said, the initial note I had for Leo this month was like, transformation is slow and quiet. Building is slow and quiet. And even if you don't have the end result in your hand, you are still on the right path. You are building it. It is happening. You are doing it. So trust that. And what I'm seeing here in these cards is that I'm seeing what it means to build something of meaning and beauty in this life. And in our culture, because we have been living in a very consumer culture world, most of us, most of our lives, we've been told that in transformation, success, accomplishment looks like, purchasing things and having things, and there they are. But what I've found is the most beautiful, potent, powerful things are things that build over a long period of time. And the process of it is something that is so immaculate and beautiful and tiny. It's like building cells every single day. It makes me think about my journey with Swedish. It's a language that's going to play such a huge part in my life. And I'm still at a place where I can't express my soul in the way that I want to. I have to accept my childlike self right now in all of that. And how I'll feel sometimes like I'm making no progress. I'll just be like, I'm still here. I am, though. Each of these little moments where a new word or a new phrase or a new way of expressing myself clicks is powerful and potent. And that's just an example. Well, let's talk about these cards because it's kind of funny. So we have Four of Pentacles, and this card I actually really have learned to love. And it's important to just take a minute here with it because Four of Pentacles, fours in tarot in general, and we have two of them today, not just one, two, are a point of rest in the journey. It's a moment to sit. We've come a certain amount. We've created a whole bunch. We've initiated a whole bunch. We need to sit down for a moment and take it in before we continue on to the next leg of the journey. And they're important rest points. And the Four of Pentacles serves a really specific, important role in growth. And that is, this is the part of ourselves that's a little scared of change, a little scared of investment in ourselves, a little scared to put that foot into the next phase of things. I almost imagine, in like fantasy series and stuff, so often you have to step through like magical doors that look like they're not there. So you have to like walk toward a wall or something, and like put your foot through, just hoping that works out for you, right? And like the Four of Pentacles is the guy who's like, I do not want to go at a run to that wall. I think it's good where we are, and I know this works even if I feel a little miserable because I've done this before. And so the Four of Pentacles, rather than like fighting against it and forcing it, I think this is an important place to check in with ourselves. We want to take care of the part of ourselves that is afraid, the inner child, the inner worrier, the inner guardian that is trying to keep us safe. We want to take a moment to hold them and let them know it's okay to grow. And this is an important healing part of the journey that, so often we just want to get frustrated with and angry with, but this is part of the Scorpio season, is healing and taking the time to really make sure we're taking care of the parts of ourselves that have been doing the work of guarding us for so long. This is also about preparing to expend our energy. So getting rest, getting nutrition, making sure that we are feeling ready for what is next and preparing for the next chapter. Because, in the midst of all of this Four energy, we do have this King of Swords. And the King of Swords, he serves answers, justice, clarity, dignity, leadership. So when he's showing up here, to me, there's an opening, there's a door, there's an answer coming in, there is a decision being made, there is something coming to fruition here, right? And it's very clear, it's very crisp, it's not about ambiguity or I don't know what's going to happen. This is clear energy, clear communicative energy. And that can be, yes, with another person, with an air sign, what have you. This is also clear communicative energy from the universe, from this connective place that we live, this connective version of reality that we live in, where there's conversations going on all the time. The King of Swords is a clarifier. He opens a door. So something is changing, something is growing, something is moving in a way that maybe we've been preparing for a while. Some of us in 2021 have been feeling like there's this door that wants to open. There's this, the way he swings his sword, the way he wields his sword. There's this opening that wants to tear in the fabric of my life and let me through to the next thing. And, there's been a sense it's coming. Well, that King of Swords really reminds me of that. And with that, and that's why I think he's surrounded by these fours, the Four of Swords is more just, it's the rest card. Rest your mind. Don't overthink things. Don't try to control with your mind. Rest. So you can see how this King of Swords, surrounded by these cards that are about kind of relaxing, taking a moment to breathe, taking a moment to check in with self, is so important in the path of growth. It's something we don't want to ignore or push down or belittle, because we're preparing to make big movements. 2022 is going to look so different from the last couple of years and any other year before that as well. And we're starting to see the trickle of that energy moving through, but it does require, Leo, some rest and some caretaking. We also have this Knight of Pentacles, and this is, this card, he makes me think of cautiousness. Four of Pentacles and Knight of Pentacles could definitely hang out and they would get along just fine. They'd be on the same page in a lot of ways. They'd be like down to just converse and agree with each other. Knight of Pentacles is cautious. He's taking a look around. He's looking at his resources. He's looking at his energy, looking at his belongings and what he wants around him, and really taking a moment to understand it. And I think this is important. I think this is important because what I keep getting in these cards and in these conversations is that you got to take care of that inner magical lantern, first of all, right? Like, take care of it with such care, but also this. Really look around and be very selective with how you're using your energy. You don't have to be it all. There's no requirement of that. This is a great month to get your ducks in a row, to get some extra rest, to get clear, and to focus in on what it is that feels right for you. Like, really focus in, really hear and feel it. Because there is something opening. There is a new chapter beginning. I also think it kind of goes on the heels of what we were talking about last month with old reference points that used to be like kind of like a good place to touch and say, okay, I'm doing okay, right? Oh, good. Yeah, like I have this reference point that tells me that I'm where I need to be and that everything's okay. Those dissolving. As those dissolve, we're needing to learn new reference points, which means it's good to observe. It's good to take it all in. It's good to look around and notice where you're going, right? I hope that makes sense. This month in some ways is so tricky for me to try to enunciate in a clear way, because there are different currents going on, and some of them are about closing out the old, and some of them are about opening up the new, and some of them are about resistance to all that newness, and some of them are about the embrace of that newness, and they're all working together. They're all part of the same process, but it can get a little muddled sometimes when I'm trying to describe it. And I also just want to say this: integrating and taking a look around and getting your ducks in a row and focusing and clarifying and simplifying isn't non-action. It's not a stuckness at all. It is action. It is action. It is huge. It is so important. It's energetic work behind the scenes that then propels external things to happen. So keep that in mind. I have some affirmations for you, my friends, before we close out this conversation today. Here they are. I trust my inner guidance system to lead me to the right answers. Even if I can't see my way to the edge of the forest, I know I am on my path. I am safe in my process. I am learning and growing even when I can't see the results immediately. I think, just remember, you are on your path. You are on your path, and you are allowed to have your path. It doesn't need to be anybody else's path. It doesn't need to be anybody else's vision goggles that you have to put on. And a part of this month is going to just let yourself have that. Sounds really simple. This is potent stuff. And it can change everything for the way you move through life. So as subtle as it may seem, it's really, really potent. And that's what I have to say about Scorpio season this year. I would love to see you here. So please like and subscribe. Let me know how your month is going. I love hearing from you all. You can also find me on Patreon, where I will be really guiding us through the beginning of eclipse season and how to move through the Scorpio season with grace, and also close out 2021 and open up 2022, because we have energy moving through that's so different from anything I've seen for a long, long time. You can also find me on my Instagram. There's one true at Sarah Vrba, no extra punctuation, underscores, any of that stuff. So I'll leave that below. Don't be fooled by the dupes. They're not worth any of our energy. So I'll let you know all the places online that you can find me. I will see you all so soon. And I love you, my Leo friends. Have a beautiful November.